What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, and I don't know if it's just me or maybe you too, but I keep reading on Twitter, on news outlets, everything is talking about the upset of the year. Barcelona going out in the group stages, Conte to show Valverde a new one. Like, let's be serious, we still have plenty of firepower capable enough to beat Inter Milan. For me, this is the perfect opportunity for Barcelona to take advantage of it. As much as we control our opponents, maybe this team can still surprise us, the fans, for the better. Faith in our side is dwindling, but with a good result to get back on track. In the Champions League, trust me, it won't be the worst of scenarios. And now, before starting off this video, you definitely know what comes next, and it's time to talk about Golazo Jersey. They sell quality, accessible footballing kits of your favorite footballing teams. And did I mention that they got the retro ones as well? You know, the infamous half-half of Barcelona, that's the one that I got. They sent me 3 samples to try, feel, and compare, and I honestly can tell you that they feel really good. So if you decide to go with them, you will not be wasting your time. So just like always, I want to start off by taking a look at how the two teams approaches this game. And, well, also because I want to expose Inter Milan a little bit. If you're an Inter Milan fan, do not get me wrong, I respect you a lot. A long time ago, before I even knew what kicking a ball was, I used to sit with my dad to watch Inter Milan. My very first exposure was Inter Milan. So I do have a soft spot for you when it comes to the clubs that I like watching. But in this time around, where we are facing one against each other, I gotta say that perhaps you have a lot of positives, which Barcelona has to be very careful about, but there are also a lot of negatives that we can expose you on. Inter Milan have only failed to win one of their first 7 matches in all competitions, which is incredible. I think that the only other team like that would no, Liverpool have even lost against Napoli in the Champions League, so maybe you may be the only one. And well, that was a 1-1 draw against Slavia Praga last week. Antonio Conte made it a brilliant start also in life in Italy. I think that if in that game head-to-head you manage to beat Juventus, you might honestly have a very good chance to win in the Scudetto. However, in Europe, Antonio Conte has not been that great, and he has only overseen 9 wins. Guys, 9 wins in 24 matches in the UEFA Champions League. That is a terrible, awful record for a manager of his caliber, for a manager that has done so much, one of my favorite managers out there. That is really bad. Furthermore, I think the inclusion of Diego Godin in these past few match days have been crucial for Inter Milan, as they only have conceded 3 goals in the last 6 games in all competitions, compared to Barcelona, where we have conceded 7. 7, those are terrible numbers. However, against Getafe, we did manage to pick it up a little bit, but more on that later. I want to continue on Inter Milan, talking about how they might just line up, because they got a lot of team news that could be very positive in their visit to the Camp Nou. First up, Alexis Sanchez was sent off at the weekend, but is free to play against his former club Barcelona if selected, though I think he will be on the bench, but what a card will that be for Antonio Conte and its team. Conte also rested the likes of Diego Godin and Romelu Lukaku, which are very good for them, especially taking into account that they managed to beat Sampdoria 3-1 with very much ease. They will be most likely returning to the starting 11 here. So for now, we got the back 3 set for Skriniar, De Vrij, and Diego Godin, and then up top the 2-man attack with Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez, but the midfield is very similarly to Barcelona, also a problem where they've seen a lot of rotations. Stefano Sensi, Barella, Matias Vecino, and Brozovic have all interchanged there, as well as the right wing-back position where we see either Valentino Lázaro, Danilo D'Ambrosio, and Antonio Candreva. If I was Conte and I knew that Barcelona are weak when pulling the ball out of the back, that they are not good enough when it comes to the pressure, I'm thinking that we need to keep a solid defense while being able to have a good mobile dynamic midfield. So what I would be doing would be to put D'Ambrosio as the right wing back alongside Asamoah at the other flank, and then in the middle of the park I would go with Stefano Sensi, Marcelo Brozovic, and Nicolo Barella. I think that this gives us, or well, them, the opportunity to complicate Barcelona a lot. So in other words, the lineup I think Antonio Conte will go with is Samir Handanovic, De Vrij, Skriniar, and Diego Godin, Danilo D'Ambrosio, Asamoah, Sensi, Brozovic, and Nicolo Barella, and then up top Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. In the case with Barcelona, I don't think that we need to dig too deep to find this team not being as consistent as before. I don't even think that we make the top 10 teams in European football when it comes to that, when it comes to consistency. Barcelona fans are expecting always their team to win every game, and even more so at home, and that's the only thing that I'm gonna hold on, and that is that we are playing at home. Barcelona, we haven't lost at home since Real Betis, I think, and the last time was in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, so a very long time ago. Barcelona can cling on to that, even with the absence of Lionel Messi or the doubt of it. The same with Ousmane, Dembele and Ansu Fati. We still have a very good chance. We've demolished teams before in Betis and Valencia this season with the players we've got right now, so there shouldn't be any excuses that we cannot do the same thing with Inter Milan. Moreover, we've always had a very good track record against Inter Milan in all competitions. We've won our last 5 games at home against them, and with those came 5 clean sheets. So I think that might be kind of an inclination to where we think we might be going. When it comes to our squad news or squad reports, whatever you want to call it, Lionel Messi has missed both of the Champions League group stages against Inter last season, and I think that he is set to miss out again here due to injury. I think that Valverde won't commit the very same, I'm not gonna say mistake, because I don't think it was a mistake, but I don't think he will take the risk to reintroduce Lionel Messi, even though everyone feels that he might be available for Inter. I don't think that he's gonna do it. Maybe just like 10 minutes max, but not half-half. Even if we are losing against Inter like 2-0, I don't think it's time to bring on Lionel Messi, because we got bigger things or bigger fish to fry later on down the season, and we need him for that. It is absolutely unacceptable that Barcelona cannot win without him, so we must put faith in what we have. In the cases of Ousmane Dembele, Ansu Fati and Samuel Umtiti, I think they're also going to be sidelined for us, and Jordi Alba will be probably also in doubt, or at least make the bench, with Junior Firpo starting over him. In the case of Clement Lenglet, he was sent off in the weekend, and I even am surprised at this stage that I keep getting questions like this. But no, if you get a red card in the league, doesn't mean anything for the Champions League, so Clement Lenglet is free to play here, and we're gonna be having our starting lineup, I believe, with the players we have right now, excluding Messi, and that is going to be Marc-André ter Stegen in the goalkeeper position, Nelson Semedo through the right, Gerard Piqué and Clement Lenglet forming the defensive unit with Junior Firpo, and then in the midfield 3 we have Artur, Busquets and Frenkie de Jong, with the front 3 being Griezmann, Suarez and Carles Perez. When it comes to tactics and you start asking me, you know I'm not the best at doing this. Other people do it better than I am, like Jamie, Talk FCV, or Italian Football TV if you're an Inter Milan fan. I'm just here to tell you that it's way easier to find out what this Barcelona side is going to do. We don't have many different assets. We don't have a plan B that we can follow. So Inter Milan will probably be keeping a solid defense and pressuring highly. I already mentioned that. And if you want to be a little bit more specific, I think that we are going to need to utilize Carles Perez to the max, or Griezmann by that manner. The way that I'm seeing Barcelona being able to break Inter Milan is very similarly to the way we did last season, with having a main number 9, in this case gonna be Luis Suarez in the middle and just someone bouncing off him, something that Griezmann did very good at all his time during Atletico Madrid, and then Carles Perez did in that game against Getafe. Constantly breaking the lines, because we are not going to be seeing Ambrosio and Asamoah pushing really high up the field, because that's not what they do. They're going to be more worried about defending, and that's what Antonio Conte will also probably tell them. A lot of the attack from Inter Milan is going to be circulating through the middle, and that's where I think most of the possession is going to be divided and broken down. We got De Jong, we got Arthur, they got Sensi, they got Brozovic, so it's a pretty good balance. I think the Barcelona are lucky in a way that we have a destroyer by that manner. We have an Arturo Vidal on the bench ready to come in. If we are losing that battle, we can introduce something else, a little bit of extra spice into it, but Inter cannot do that. That is why Antonio Conte was constantly trying to look for Vidal as well, because right now in their side, none of their midfielders are doing that, I believe. Brozovic can do a lot of defensive work, and we've seen that in the World Cup, but it's not the very same thing to have a destroyer like him, because Busquets can also do that defensive work if he's up to it, but having a player that just can literally bully everyone else, that doesn't care about fouls, doesn't care about regaining the ball, just trying to get it off your feet, that is Arturo Vidal. So I think we got a positive in that, and I think he will play a role. Other two players which I believe will play a lot of a role will be Junior Firpo and Nelson Semedo, especially Junior Firpo, because Semedo and, well, especially Firpo, once again, sorry for the reiteration of my words. Firpo in the game against Getafe had to worry a lot about Jason. He was getting constantly harassed by him during the game, and to the point where he could have even received many yellow cards, I believe. So many fouls he committed. But here he doesn't have Inter, a designated player, to molest him in a way. So Junior Firpo can be free and he can enjoy that moment where he's just going to have a lot of the ball perhaps. There are a lot of chance creation. If it's not being done for the midfield, it's going to be delivered to Junior Firpo and Semedo. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Firpo to see how he does on the big stage. So overall, in my prediction, I believe Barcelona can win this game 2-0. I am very confident that we can keep a clean sheet in this game, and I think that if we blow them right out from the get-go, we can get a very good opportunity to just cement the 3 points. Barcelona need this, and so does Inter, so it's gonna be a pretty big game. Do not get mistaken to the fact that we don't have Lionel Messi, Ousmane, Dembele, and all of that to say that Barcelona have already lost this game. A lot of people are inclining to the side of Inter Milan, but like I said, we are at home, we have a lot of firepower, and we can definitely win this game. That's gonna be everything for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe if you did, and I'll be joining you after the game against Inter Milan to talk about how Barcelona managed to, hopefully, fingers crossed, beat them. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.